Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. In this video, I'll be doing a case study based question for 4 marks from the Cbse 2025 board paper. So let's look at the question. Now, cable cars at hill stations are one of the major tourist attractions. On a hill station, the length of cable car ride from base point to topmost point on the hill is 5,000 meters. Poles are installed at equal intervals on the way to provide support to the cables on which car moves. Now the distance of first pole from base point is 200 meters and subsequent poles are installed at equal intervals of 150 meters. Further, the distance of the last pole from the top is 300 meters. Based on the above information, answer the following questions using arithmetic progression. Now the first question is find the distance of the 10th pole from the base. Okay, so before we start doing the finding the distance of the 10th pole from the base, let's try to write out the AP. Now they've said that the distance of the first pole, distance of first pole from the base point is 200 meters and subsequent poles are installed at equal intervals of 150 meters. Okay, which means our AP is going to have its first term as 200. The AP is 200, comma, the next term would be 200 plus 150, which is 350. The next one would be 350 plus 150, which is 500. And the next term would be 500 plus 150, which is 650, and so on. Now, using this information, they're asking us to find the distance of the 10th pole from the base. Now, how do we find the distance of the 10th pole? Distance of the 10th pole from the base is equal to A10. Now, how do we find the nth term of an AP? An is given by A plus n minus 1 into D, where A is the first term and D is the common difference. Now, here the value of n is 10 because we are expected to find the 10th term of the AP. The value of A will be the first term of the AP. In this case, it is 200. And the value of D is 150. It is 350 minus 200. Okay, now let's try and find out the 10th term of this AP. So A10 will be 200 plus 10 minus 1 into D, which is 150. That is 200 plus 9 times 150, which is equal to 1550 meters. So we found out the 10th term of the AP. So first part of the question is done. Now, in the second part, they have asked you to find the distance between the 15th pole and the 25th pole. Okay, so in order to find the distance between the 15th pole and the 25th pole, we need to subtract the 25th term from the 15th term from the 25th term. Okay, so let's try and solve this one. They've asked you to find the distance between the 15th pole and the 25th pole. Okay, so we know that the distance of the 25th pole will be A25. And if I subtract A15 from it, I will get the distance between the 15th pole and the 25th pole. Now, how do I find A25? A25 is equal to A plus 25 minus 1 into D. A I know is 200. Plus 24 times D, which is equal to 150. So that is 200 plus 24 times 150 will be 24 times 150 will be equal to 3600. So this is equal to 3800. Now, how do we find the 15th term? It's A plus 15 minus 1 into D. So that is 200 plus 14 times 150. Now, 14 times 150 is equal to 2100. So that is 2100 plus 200, which is 2300. So distance between 15th and 25th pole is equal to 3800 minus 2300, which is equal to 1500. Okay. In the third part, we are expected to find the time taken by the cable car to reach the 15th pole from the top if it is moving at a speed of 5 meter per second and coming from the top. Now this time, since the cable car is coming from the top, we know that we have to take the value of A as 300. Why is it so? Because they've said that the last pole is at a distance of 300 meter from the top. Okay, so let's find the value of A15 from the top, which will be equal to A plus 15 minus 1 into D. In this case, the value of A now becomes 300 because it's starting from the top. And then the distance between each pole still remains as 150 meters. So this is equal to 300 plus 14 times 150, which is equal to 2100. And 300 plus 2100 gives me 2400 meters. So we know that the distance of the 15th pole from the top will be 2400 meters. Now, but here they're not asking you to find out the distance. They've asked you to find out the time taken by the cable car to reach this pole. Okay, and they've given you the speed as equal to 5 meter per second. Okay, so let's, we know the distance and we know the speed. Speed is equal to 5 meter per second. So we can calculate the time as equal to distance divided by speed, which will give me 2400 divided by 5, which is 480 seconds. Now if you convert this to minutes, 480 divided by 60 gives me 8 minutes. Okay, so that means the cable car takes 8 minutes to reach the 15th pole. Now there's one more part to the question. In the OR part, they're asking you to find the total number of poles installed along the entire journey. Okay, now we know that the distance of the last pole from the base will be distance of the last pole from the base would be equal to 5000, which is the total height of the topmost point of the hill, minus 300, which is where the last pole has been installed. Because they've said that the distance of this last pole from the top is 300. Okay, and now right now we are trying to find out the distance of the last pole from the base of the hill. So that is equal to 4700 meters. Now we know that the value, we can take AN as 4700 and we know A is 200 and we know D is 150. So let's use the formula AN equal to A plus N minus 1 into D. AN I know is 4700 equal to 200 plus N minus 1 into D. Now N is the number of poles. Okay, so let me bring 200 to the other side. So 4700 minus 200 is equal to 150 times N minus 1, which gives me 4500 equal to 150 times N minus 1. Or N minus 1 now becomes 4500 divided by 150. Now 15 goes 3 times in 45. So N minus 1 now becomes 30. And the value of N is 30 plus 1, which is equal to 31. So there are total number of poles. Total number of poles is equal to 31. If you have a math question that you'd like me to cover, drop it in the comments and I'll be happy to do a video just for you. Also, if you like my video, please don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Thank you.